Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper wonderful and super duper delicious wherever you are in the world, my little beautifuls, okay? So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juicy little lights. 1, 6, 2. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, my delicious little babies. So the time is, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? It's 20 past 3 in our old England, my delicious little babies. And, well, we've got some sunshine. We've got some not so very nice grey and white fluffy clouds. I've got my washing hanging on the line because we've actually got some decent weather for a change. Yesterday was more, and I think was it in the afternoon, it was more raining and everything like that now then anyway. But today's a new day. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, so I just want to have a little talk, really. Okay, I'm not going to talk for long. I bet you're going to say to yourself, whoopee, do you see what I mean, my delicious babies, okay? But I've had this song playing in my noddle for about, I think it's about 4 days now, and I forgot to say it. Believe it or not, I did. Okay, my delicious babies. And this one, this on YouTube, this goes back 12 years ago. Okay, my delicious little babies. Look, number 3. And this uploader happens to have 1.64,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. I haven't looked at any other videos because I just wanted to type in, which I did do. That doesn't mean no. I just needed to type in what the song is that's in my noddle and the lyrics to it, okay? So this uploader, all the words and the numbers are together, my delicious little babies, okay? So the uploader's called, in the older search engine in YouTube, my delicious little babies, capital B, Bob, then a capital M, Marley, then a capital R for is, then a capital G for great, then 420. Okay, my delicious little baby. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Words, numbers, all together. That's the upload of my delicious little babies in YouTube. Bob Marley is great. 420. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, what I want you to please take a very close look at, because when I typed in, and I'll just tell you what it's called, and then, okay, my delicious little babies. Sun is shining, the weather is sweet, yeah. Okay, that's the song. To the rescue, here I am. That's the song, my delicious little babies. It's a very old song, okay, my delicious little babies. Now, our lovely, bless him, and with anybody not in that way, our lovely Bob Marley, well, he did the song, yes, and then you had cover version of it, okay. So they, with that song, they slightly speeded it up, okay, but this is a lot slower. Okay, my delicious babies. So the sun, it's called, sorry, I do not need to stumble here. Sun is shining lyrics. Okay, my delicious babies, okay. Now, what's really interesting, 1.64,000 subscribers comes to number 11. And where it says Bob Marley is great, 4-2 comes to 6, my delicious babies. Very interesting that is, isn't it, my delicious babies? And of course, this video, I repeat once again, was uploaded 12 years ago, comes to 3. Do you follow me, my delicious babies? Yes. Now I'm going to close my book, so that's the information for today. Oh no, there is one more piece. So if you could please and thank you, just going to put my book over there. Need to go backwards where we can, my delicious babies. And look at this, completely tangled. Look at that. Looks like a little tree, doesn't it? My delicious babies. Anyway, you know, with all the lights on it. Anyway, my delicious little babies. Now then, so don't worry about it. I'll untangle it. My delicious babies. There we are. I was very good at that when I was in jewellery. You know, our jewellery repairers, bless, they used to throw the, because I used to do all the admin and everything, you know, and sort out the stones, you know, rubies, diamonds and things like this now then, and emeralds and sapphires and, you know, different things, corals, onyxes, you know, opals, citrines, amber, you know, the list just goes on and on. I just keep on trying. Okay, my delicious babies. And I used to do all my admin. But something else that I was very good at, there we are, was untangling things now. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? So they used to go, Carla, and they used to throw it over to me. Can you untangle that? Because it was like jewellery repairs and everything, and downstairs was a shop, you know, where you could purchase big racks. You see what I mean, my delicious babies, or big chains, you know. And at that time, I just got to tell you, okay, this is not rehearsed, by the way. It's just something that's just coming into my noddle. They used to sell a lot of the gold clowns, and they used to be from the lightweight to the heavyweight. You see what I mean, my delicious babies? Believe it or not, around that time, you know, my early 20s, yeah, it was all a thing now. You know, these clowns, and then they used to have stones like a diamond, sapphire, emerald, do you know what I mean, ruby, like that. Okay, my delicious babies, okay. And of course, another really famous, two famous chains to put around your neck, you know, because it's like we all feel like we've got a flipping chain around our neck. My delicious rewind. Okay, my delicious baby stumbling there. We all seem to feel like we've got a chain around our damn necks now. Well, around that time, the Belcher chain was very, there we are, popular, and so was the curb chain. My delicious little babies, do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. I just came into my noddle after all these years. My delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? Tourmaline was another one. The tourmaline stone, my delicious little babies, that was another one, yeah. Anyway, my delicious little babies, and of course you got coral. I remember when I was in Egypt. Now, I'm pretty sure it was in Egypt, or was it in Egypt? No, when I went on a flipping boat trip, or it could be Turkey. Anyway, apparently, if you went diving, you were not allowed to pick the coral, you know, from in the sea. But somebody who went diving, I happened to be on a boat trip, and cannot remember now where. I don't know if it was Turkey or whether it was Egypt. It was one of them. Anyway, my delicious babies. And anyway, and well, basically, they said, I said, could you please pick me a bit of coral? I said, just so that I can see, you know, properly what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? The real thing now. And they said, yes. They said, but we're not allowed to. I said, that's all right. I said, I won't tell anybody. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yeah, I had that coral for quite a long time, but because I've moved 35 times, my delicious babies, somewhere along the line, I lost it. My delicious babies anyway. Not to worry, not to worry. So, yeah, the other one is Redacted, my delicious babies, on old YouTube. They're now up to 2.64 million subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? They're banging, do you know what I mean, okay? And of course, like I said, not in that way, not in that way. Please look at their latest video. Yes, this is like music to my ears, my delicious little babies, okay? So, what they're talking about. Well, first of all, anyway, I heard this yesterday. Anyway, I'm going to have my view on this. I'm going to have my take on all of this, okay? So I heard that the putrid perp. So for anybody who's religious out there, this is nothing personal now, okay? This is my view. I'm a woman with a view. I shall have my effing view, okay, my delicious babies? So I hear that he has croaked it. Now, for anybody else, I would say passed away. Okay, my delicious babies, well, you know, apart from the putrid, you know what I mean? I'd also say croaked. Okay, my delicious babies, okay? So where is he? Going on up to the spirit in the sky. That's where I'm gonna go when I die. When I die and they lay me to rest, I'm gonna go to the place that's the best. I'm not so sure about that, my delicious little babies, seeing as he liked to wear his red, there we are, shoes now then. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. So it's like a filing system. And this is how, there we are, I always believe it to be, my delicious little babies, okay? So if you have been good, then you're not let's just say further down the filing system. But if you have been naughty, putrid, ignorant, arrogant, nasty, and pretty much a dirty little paedophile now, well, you're going to be very low on the filing list, which means that you have to work very hard. So where your man there's going, okay, my delicious babies, or, he hasn't quite transitioned, shall we say, okay? I do not feel anyway, okay? He will be very low down on the filing list, my delicious babies, okay? Which means that he's got to work super duper and deliciously hard. Okay, whereas if you have been good on this earth, you will not have to work as hard. Okay, my delicious little babies. So that's where I see it. So what were my thoughts when I heard he croaked it? Good riddance to bad shart. Okay, I say to my camera, I feel no way. Okay, my delicious little babies, when you see through the piece of shart now then, there we are. That is what he was. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? That's my view. There we are, and I shall stick to my view. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, let's just move on swiftly to Conor McGregor. Okay, the Irish boxer. I don't know whether you've noticed, my delicious little babies, but in old America, they like to have boxers, don't they? As friends now, muckers, I would call them, my delicious little babies. Yes. Remember the word that I just said, muckers. So they like to have the boxers around them, but in other countries, they prefer security guards. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Are you following me? Yes. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, yes, I get where Conor McGregor with some of the things now that he's saying now. Okay, my delicious little babies. The question is, the million, there we are, dollar question, my delicious little babies. Is this going to, there we are, be carried out? Okay, my delicious little babies, kind. Because there's an awful lot, bless their beautiful dear little souls, going on in Ireland at the moment, my delicious little babies, kind. And it's really not very nice for the Irish at the moment, my delicious little babies. Now, I was just listening to a video, actually. I was going to advertise it. I was about just over a quarter of the way through, and I thought, no, I'm not going to. I just think that nothing to do with the uploader, bless, okay, but it's just a little bit boring. You know what I mean? You want something, only a figure of speech, my delicious little babies, just to get your damn teeth into. Do you see what I mean? Your hamster teeth. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, so he does ramble on a bit. We all ramble on a bit, but I just do not feel that you would have found it that, as interesting, okay? But it came up on my feed, my delicious little babies, so I thought, well, I'll just listen to a little bit of it. And then I just clicked on, do not recommend. Okay, my delicious little babies, but like I said, nothing personal now, because all different uploaders are different uploaders, aren't they? But it's what floats your boat, and it's what you wish to listen to or engage in. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, so we shall see now then. But ones have to ask themselves a question, why did they choose Conor McGregor now? Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, what your man said on that video, the one that I was just talking about is that, Ireland is a very small island. Well, so is England, my delicious little babies. And what he was saying is that there seems to be certain now who seem to be ruling everything now, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Which, of course, there we are, we've known a long time. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? But, of course, this needs to change. But, of course, when you've got lots of ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. So even though what he was saying is that Conor McGregor doesn't never have to work another day in his life, well, okay, yeah, we could say that. But how long would it be? This is, all I'm doing is giving food for thought here, food for thought. How long would it be? There we are, till somebody else is bought. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's the question, there we are, that I'm asking. Okay, my delicious little babies, yes. So that's really all that I want to say today, my delicious little babies. If Conor McGregor could do, marvellous things now for Ireland, then that would be wonderful and delicious. But I don't know. I feel he's been there we are used, there we are in some other way. Okay, my delicious little babies. And what your man there was also talking about on the video is that something to do with the Tucker Carlson and Conor McGregor interview that he well, basically it's not getting as much out there. Okay, my delicious little babies. But that's what happens. You get shadow banned. I'm the same. My delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. You know, I'm the same. You know, so not a lot of my videos get viewed or listened to, and that is by design, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? So that at the end of the day, nobody can hear now, there we are, what I've got to say. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, because they're not a liking. They do not want anybody to, you know, to have their say. You know, they want us just to shut up and put up. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? But anyway, one last thing. So on Older Redacted, our lovely Redacted on YouTube, my delicious little babies. So they were talking about the WHO, World Health Organization, my delicious little babies. Well, guess what? Guess what? Not going so well, is it, my delicious little babies? What is it that Schwab has so-called resigned? Anyway, I heard it yesterday on another video, my delicious little babies. And so what are they going to wheel in next? Okay, my delicious little babies, you know, from behind the curtain. And, you know, the situation does not appear to be going very well, my delicious little babies. I'd say stamped it. There we are. My delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Because there's too many. There we are. Who are talking about this now? They're not finding it so easy, are they, my delicious little babies? Okay. So at the moment, they're not being able to get, let's just say, certain treaties through now. I'm highly delighted. There we are. I am highly delighted. Otherwise, for you and I out here, my delicious little babies, we would have had, there we are, hell. It's like hell on earth. Okay, my delicious little babies. So at the end of the day, and then apparently they've got something else coming out in May. You see what I mean? And then what they do, you have to listen to the video, please, and thank you, my delicious little babies. Just a little bit of time out of one's day or night. And what they do that many pages. Well, how many are going to read that many pages, my delicious little babies? You see what I mean? This how they rock and roll things now. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But it seems that there we are, because of so many who have now woken up, my delicious little babies, okay? They're not finding it so, there we are, so easy. So it's not easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? It was like music to my ears, my delicious little babies. You see what I mean, okay? It's a power of thought. You see what I mean? It's a power of thought. And for ones who can use their different positions, you know, the ones who are not going to follow the leaders, okay? They can have some inputs. There we are too. Do you see what I mean, my little babies? Sorry, I didn't need to stumble then, okay? But, you know, they can have their input too. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So whereas years ago, you know, they could just roll something out and everybody's just got to go along with this effing shart now. Well, that's not happening. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So now, there we are, we're going to continue to sit back, there we are, and watch the flex. Okay, my delicious little babies, this is super duper and delicious news, okay? And let it continue. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Oh, and one more last thing. So I made a beautiful leek and potato soup yesterday, my delicious little babies. And so somebody else had, you know, a bowl of it. Then I sent 2 lots up to me dear little elderly neighbour, bless her. Then there's another dear little elderly neighbour over the back. I've just went and taken her one. And then there's a dear woman just down here now. She's not as old, but she's got a lot of, bless her, a lot of health problems, issues. So I went and took her soup first, and she was nearly crying, my delicious little baby. She said, "You're such a kind person." Do you see what I mean? Okay, she said, "You're really lovely." And I said, "That's all right." I said, "I'm doing some more soup tomorrow." I said I'm doing onion, celery, it's organic, sorry, okay, onion, celery and broccoli soup. That's with salt and pepper, garlic, okay, and a bit of cream in it. My delicious little babies, okay. And I'm also making a cauliflower soup, okay. My delicious little babies, that's cauliflower, onion, celery, salt, pepper, and a bit of cream and garlic. My delicious little babies, okay. So I'm sending them some more soup, okay. And of course, my dear little elderly neighbour up the road, bless her, she's so sweet. They're all just so sweet, okay. She loves my butter. So, and I do it all for free, by the way. My delicious little babies, I'm not charging them for anything. And my dear little neighbour over the back, she said, how can you afford this? I said, look, I have plenty. It's not going to hurt me. Do you know what I mean? To share it out. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, it's not a problem at all. And of course, the way that I do the soup, because there's onion, with the potato and leek, you got salt, pepper, garlic, you got a bit of cream, you got the leeks, and you got the potato, the spuds, and you got that bit of cream in it. Do you see what I mean? My delicious babies can, but it's not bloating. It's, the soups that I make, there we are not bloating. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So I do these soups and it's there we are, super duper healthy for your system. I mean, if you wanted to just, swing it a bit, you could probably put a bit of chili flakes or fresh chili in it. You know what I mean? If you just wanted to give it that oomph. Do you see what I mean? My delicious babies. But because they're elderly, they're used to having their certain foods now. Do you see what I mean? A kind of dear lady down the road, she took us a whiff, because I sent it in these thick plastic trays. She said, oh, that smells beautiful. She said, that's my favourite soup. And of course, I can make any soup. There we are. I can make any soup at all. My delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? It's very wholesome. It's very good for you. Do you know what I mean? I haven't bought a tin of soup for I don't know how many years. Probably, I'd probably say well over 2 decades I haven't bought soup. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, because yes, it takes a little bit longer. A little bit longer. It takes a little bit longer. But there we are. But the benefits of it are wonderful, there we are, and delicious. And it's beautiful either with bread or butter or with a beautiful crusty cob or something like that. Now then, it's absolutely delicious and beautiful. Do you know what I mean? It's very wholesome. And of course, when they eat it, they say it just tastes so fresh. You know what I mean? My delicious babies, okay? So if somebody was to say to myself, okay, you can spend 50 squids, on getting some takeaway now, or you can have the soup, I choose my soup. And tomorrow, in my Waitrose delivery, because I get certain things now from Waitrose. So I've got my miso coming. So I bought 2, one for my beautiful dear little neighbours upstairs and one for myself, you know what I mean? And I would really recommend my delicious little babies. I always buy the white miso, okay, my delicious little babies, but it's very good, and you can do, there we are, some beautiful soups, okay, with the miso. You only need 1 or 2, to your liking, teaspoons of miso. Do you know what I mean? And maybe put some veg stock or chicken stock or beef stock, whatever, you know what I mean, whatever you would use, and put a bit of that in, and you know what I mean, to make your soups. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but that's more the say Japanese way. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and if you're going to cook to make a soup, I would usually put codfish. So boil a fish first with a bit of salt and water, you know what I mean? Then I can just flake it into the soup. Okay, my delicious babies. But what I do with that is I do add some chilli. Okay, my delicious babies, because it just gives it that wump. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies. Anyway, so that's a cookery lesson for today, my delicious little babies. So until my next video, and I'll tell you, if I could give you my soup, there we are, through the screen, there we are, I would gladly give it to you. Because I just love cooking. I cannot stand baking, my delicious little babies. Okay, I love my beautiful little nanny and granddad so, but she used to really try her best to get me into baking, and it was just no go. Do you know what I mean? But anything savoury, there we are, it's delish. I just love it. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Anyway, so until my next video, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. Okay, my little babies. And by the way, if you're doing a leek and potato soup, you'll need to use about that much butter. Okay, my little babies, because first of all, you've got to, mix them around for about 5 minutes, just on a low heat, just to soften them a bit. Okay, my little babies. And of course, with the onions, I would usually use olive oil, my delicious little babies, just to soften them just a tiny bit. Okay, my delicious little babies. So and if you're going to put cream in, it's up to yourselves. I usually put about 3.5 just level tablespoons of the cream in. Okay, it just gives that beautiful creaminess. Okay, my delicious little baby. So I just thought I'd mention it. Okay, but I just love cooking that much. There we are. I really, really do. Do you know what I mean? I just wish that, I know that you've got a lot of cooks, but I just wish that we had more. Do you know what I mean? Instead of these poxy just eat flipping cars and flipping motorbikes and that going up the road. Do you know what I mean? I just wish that they'd just take that time just to go to the shops and just go and get their ingredients. There we are. That's all I could hope and pray and wish for. One day it will come to pass. Okay, my delicious babies, continue to good vibrations. Okay, please take care of yourselves now, and please try to take care of others. Okay, and look after yourselves. I send lots of love and protection to each and every one of you. Okay. And if you are doing good things in your communities or on your roads, thank you, because there are so many who are needing help right now. So much love. Thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. I so very much appreciate it, and I'm most thankful, because at least I know that we are. Somebody's are listening to myself. Okay, my delicious babies. So until my next video, love ya. Goodbye. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.